Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of TIA vlog series. I'm your host Ada and I'm ever so happy to see you guys again. I haven't, loaded up some videos lately. I do apologize. I've been so busy with other stuff, but hey, I'm here and I'm happy to see you on my chair. I'm here to speak to you, hear what's happening to you guys. I hope you've been doing great things. I hope you've been, being yourself, be happy to be yourself, taking on board some of the life lessons I throw out there on my vlogs. Well, most importantly, I just want to touch base on what's happened lately. There's been a lot of sad news, deaths, and loss of lives in the last few days and weeks. It's been so sad. It's disheartening. I just feel that I cannot go into my vlog today without touching a little bit on this death toll. Some of you who are on social media may have seen images of a lorry tanker exploding in the Lagos, Nigeria on the motorway. A lot of deaths obviously occurred, lives were lost, cars were lost, but most importantly, the casualty was enormous. It's so sad. Loss of lives should always mean a lot to us as humans. In addition to that event, there was also an event in the UK. A Nigerian boy was killed in a party. It's so sad. He's such a young boy. He was only 15-year-old. I just feel I need to touch base on such sad stories before I move into today's vlogs. I'm a Nigerian, I'm an African, and everything I stand for is Nigerian and is African. And I think it would be very unfair and very insensitive of me to go into my vlog today without talking about this event and bringing and shedding more light on what's happened, lately in the past few weeks. And also talking about deaths. There's also a very prominent death that's trending on social media and the media generally. It's Justice for Junior. Another 15-year-old boy was killed in the Bronx in America. It's, there's just too many deaths. The tolls are rising. It's sad. I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's scary for those of us who are parents. We have 15-year-olds, you have 16-year-olds, you have 17-year-olds, 18, 19, 20. You have children, basically. No matter the age, as a parent, it burdens your heart. It scares you because your children are growing and you don't know what the world is becoming, what the world is turning into. I just want parents, brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, nephews, any human being, every adult out there, please keep an eye out. Be your brother's keeper. Look out for signs, amongst teenagers. Look out for things that are abnormal in children around you. Just because they're not your children, they're not your blood, does not mean you should turn a blind eye. We're humans and we cannot, we mustn't stop that simple thing that makes us human. We must keep it in us. Please guys, just keep an eye out for children around you. If you know of any child or any young adult in your lives or in your environment or in your neighborhood, do keep an eye out, and be your brother's keeper. Right, let's get into today's vlog. Right, today's vlog, I'm going to be sharing my experience with you, a little bit about what happened to me over the week. Oh, by the way, last weekend I attended a fashion show. I just thought so I'd mention it. It was a fashion show by another Nigerian lady under the name of Anchor Ready. She's bringing the African fashion, the African material to us here in the West. So she's come with this beautiful designs, wonderful designs, versatile designs, and above all, they're very affordable. And this fashion show was amazing. Take a look at some of the snapshots there. Yes, I attended this fashion show. I was lucky enough to be there, considering the distance. It was an amazing sight to behold. There was a lot of opportunities to network. There were women like you and I, business women and mothers, you know, doing their stuff. It was awesome. So I just want to say well done to Anchor Ready. Keep the flag flying. Thank you for bringing African fashion to the Western world. And for those of you who are not Nigerians watching, I hope you do take a chance to visit her website, see the lovely fabric that Nigerians are making, the lovely designs that Africans are coming up with. You know, Africans, you know, we've got it all. We're doing the best we can to put our image out there positively. Well done to you, Anchor Ready, and the host of all the ladies who were out there doing the stuff. Right, today's vlog is something that I've been toying with in my head. And I've spoken to a few people who said to me, it's a very sensitive issue. Perhaps we shouldn't talk about it. Perhaps we should leave it. But I said, no, I want to talk about it. That's what TIA vlog series is about. I am saying what you're thinking. I'm discussing the very topic some of us are afraid to talk about. And on today's vlog, I'm going to be talking about the LGBTQ, the acronym meaning lesbians, gays, bisexual, transsexuals, and queer. All of these people are in the society we live in today. They're all over the world. They're not anything different from you and I. They're human beings. They're normal people. The only thing is, you know, they've got a different lifestyle and a different belief to what they represent. You know, I just felt I should talk about this because a question was prompted at the weekend. My son asked me a question. He says, Mom, he said to me, isn't it that when a boy wears a girl's clothes and behaves like a girl, it means he's gay? And I rolled my eyes and I turned around and I'm like, okay, here we go. So this 7-year-old kid is talking to me about gay. He's trying to understand what it means to be gay. First of all, let's get it clear. Africans, we do not discuss gays, lesbians, transsexuals, and queers with our children. It's a known fact. We don't discuss it, not because we don't want to, but because it's an uncomfortable topic or subject. It's a very sore one as well. Africans do not encourage such lifestyle. I'm an African, I'm a Nigerian, and I know that there are a few of us that have become open-minded and welcoming to the ideas of lesbians, gays, transsexuals, and queer. Some Africans are open-minded to it, some Africans are not, but the vast majority of Africans, I speak as an African, and I know for a fact that the vast majority of Africans are not very welcoming to the idea of lesbians, gay, transsexual, and queer. Let's take a moment. We're not welcoming to it, not because we are sticking our noses down at them or because we think it's something that's, you know, very deadly. No, very far from it. I'll give you an example as to why I'm taking this stand today. I grew up in the 70s. In the times when I was born in Nigeria, raised in Nigeria, there were lesbians, there were probably gays, and, you know, the rest of them. But I didn't grow up knowing of them. I didn't grow up seeing them on TV. I didn't grow up seeing them on the streets holding hands, cuddling, and kisses. Yes, that's the African, the Nigeria I grew up in. Right now, I understand things have changed and times have evolved. However, I believe there are people who are still like me, who share the same values as I do, which is the fact that I am struggling to understand the concept of LGBTQ. I am struggling because even though I live in this era and this generation, it is not something I was raised to be aware of or to understand or to take in. So for people who are in that community, I need you to understand, with fellow Africans like me, when we come across people like this, we're not putting you down. We're not snaring at you or looking down at you. It's coming from a point of lack of understanding. And when people do not understand something, they tend to shy away from it. They tend to frown at it. You know, so as much as most Africans or some Africans have chosen to be open-minded towards it, that's very good, very bold of them. There are still quite a number of Africans who are still very timid about this, who are still very hush-hush about it. You know, my son bringing up to me in the week got me thinking, are we discussing this in our homes with our children? How are we addressing this issue of LGBTQ? with our children. Nigerian parents who live abroad, how are you discussing with your children? Or have you taken the time to talk about it to your child? Because whether you like it or not, it is here to stay. Whether we believe in it or not, whether we know or understand it or not, it is here. You see it on TV. You see scripts incorporating lesbians, gays, queer people in their movies. These things are there, and children, our children are watching this. The schools are very open about it. It's not something that is queer or hidden any longer, as opposed to in Nigeria or other West African countries, Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe. I know that LGBTQ as a lifestyle is here to stay. In Nigeria, where I come from, it is a criminal offense as we speak for anyone to conduct a gay marriage, or let alone to come out openly and describe themselves as gay. It is an offense. I know for a fact that it's in the Nigerian constitution. It's against the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I know that the same thing applies for some other African nations. But the question here is, are we going to carry on being in denial about this group of people living amongst us, breathing amongst us? Are we going to keep on pretending like they don't exist? Because they do exist. And for the sake of posterity and for the sake of our children, we need to come together and figure out a way to discuss these things amongst ourselves as African adults, amongst ourselves as parents, and amongst ourselves as families. Because believe it or not, some children are still in the closet. Some children perhaps may have such tendencies. And because they're African children, they carry on living in secrecy, denying it or hiding it or struggling with it. I'm not for a minute trying to condone or to disdain or to say anything negative about this fact. I just want us as Africans to begin to slowly, in our quiet times, think about this, ponder about it as parents. You need to start discussing with your children what they know about the LGBTQ community. You need to start finding out, whether it is right in your opinion, whether it's wrong in your culture or in your belief as a Christian, or as a Muslim or as an atheist, whatever your background is, whatever it is, that makes you feel that you cannot welcome this notion. You need to come away in your quiet time, find a way to take it in, understand it, and break it down to your child. If you're a child or a foster parent or a guardian, LGBTQ is a fact, is a living fact. There are people who are that way inclined, and they're amongst us back home in Nigeria, here in the United Kingdom, and all over the world. We as humans, we must find a way. We as Africans especially, Nigerians, Africans across the board. I know we don't talk about stuff like this, but the time has come and we have to take a deeper look and possibly find a way within our Africanness to discuss about this and know what we're going to do, because we can't shy away. It's the elephant in the room. It's the big elephant in the room for the African community. And that is why I've chosen to talk about it today. I'm not, again, let's get it clear. I just want to shed light on it. And that's why I've discussed it with us today. I'm going to leave you with that message, guys. And I hope to see you next week in my vlog. Bye.